Oh, sorry. Just picking some crinkles out of my teeth. Matt's just been cooking upstairs. I've just discovered that this is a biblical term, and I had no idea about this, but the saying goes, man does not live on bread alone. And this is a fabulous thing to discover because clearly it doesn't apply to me, which means my renewed hobby in sourdough bread making can be embraced with gay abandon. And I'm eating sourdough bread every day, breakfast, lunch, and often dinner. My guest today is my brother-in-law, Dave Pearse. How are you going, Dave?
I'm going really well, thanks, Rob.
Thanks for joining me. What piece of random shit? Do you feel like you've even got a choice in this?
Well, yes, I do. Yes, I feel free to make my own choices. So that's good.
So no pressure then?
No pressure, no. That's
a good thing, thank you. What's your first piece of random shit?
Well, there was a little bit of pressure because I had to choose what to show. So my first piece is a very handy tool,
yes,
which actually has some ties to you. So
okay,
and more particularly to John, actually. So,
okay.
And this is a holder for my shaving, right? So
yep.
And a couple of years ago, a dreadful accident happened to a plastic holder that I had, and I'd carried around for years and years and years, and then one day it fell apart into small pieces. So I was talking with John about it, and I noticed that he might have had some wire in his shed, and he gave me the use of some of his tools and a bit of advice about how to get the lines straight and everything looking neat.
Yes.
And now I'm no longer worried about this thing breaking or falling apart. It's ready to travel anywhere. So
I love that. That's very resourceful.
Yeah, I like it that it's valueless, if you know what I mean. So it's
yes, yeah. Worthless or valueless? Are they the same thing?
Invaluable. Let's put it that way.
Okay, invaluable. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Now, my first piece of random shit is following along the sourdough bread theme.
Yes.
And that is, what do you do with, I'll just grab some. Here's a jar of sourdough starter. Wow. And they just keep growing, don't they? Like you feed them every day. Well, you don't have to feed them every day. But if you do, this is what happens. And I have 3 jars of the stuff now. And so what you do is you take a bit of starter out and you feed what's left, or put some of the starter in a new jar and then feed what's left, and that kind of thing. You know what to do. You've read the blogs. But what do you do with your spare sourdough? So my friend Kari, who hopefully we'll have on to share some of her random shit, she rang me one day and she said, Robert, what on earth am I supposed to do with all of this leftover starter? I've got no idea what to do with it. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want to eat that much bread. It's a real problem. So I suggested that a friend of ours, Elizabeth Vaconia, made some sourdough crackers. And so Kari went off and she found a recipe. Now, this is so thin, you can barely see it. Where do I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look. So thin. And I've passed this on to Dave and my sister Sue. Dave, what do you think about these crackers?
They are delicious. They're just, if you make too many, you just eat them all. That's it.
And I've encrusted them with spices and sesame seeds, and they really are spectacular, aren't they?
They're fantastic.
Yeah. So that's actually a useful piece of information. If you have too much sourdough starter, make some of these. If you'd like the recipe, I can share it from the site where Kari got it from, and credit to the woman who made the recipe. Dave, your second piece?
Well, this might be something that will surprise both you and I, actually. This is something I carry with me in my luggage, in my suitcase.
Yes.
And just by way of background, for the first year of our travel, Sue and I we didn't use packing bags at all. So, and then we started to get into conversations with different travellers about how packing bags might work, and we ultimately tried them. And we thought, wow, that's fantastic. So we switched over. But that meant that all the little bits and pieces I had of things that I thought I might need on a trip, I had to put into a bag. So so I wouldn't go everywhere, if you know what I mean. So, and it's usually the last thing I look at before we travel. So because our trip to Barcelona was cancelled thanks to the coronavirus, I haven't looked in this for quite some time, for probably months. So so my random piece of shit is what's in this bag. So,
is that something that you want to share publicly?
I think I can. I'm just having a look. So.
Okay. And that's good because we can't see it. You've got to below the camera line.
I know, that's clever, isn't it?
It is very clever. I'm very impressed.
So, all right, the first thing is a leather case with a tool that turns into a pair of pliers.
Ah, yes. Now, you don't put that in your carry-on luggage, do you? That goes
No,
into...
you can't. You can't, because the people think that they might
do
need
something
it while
naughty.
they use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so the next piece is some clothes hooks and clamps and for hanging up clothing, to dry.
Yes, in your bathroom
Some
or anywhere.
Go anywhere. Doggy bags.
Because when you
front.
so when you arrive in your country of destination, you go straight to your house sit, and your first activity is to walk the dog. You don't want to be without your doggy bags.
Well, usually people give them to you when you house sit, but sometimes in one house sit they had all these plastic bags in a bag, and I was using them, but one day there was a hole in the plastic bag, and I thought, oh no, that's it, I'm going to use my own. So I carry my own bags with me, so it's
that would be a disaster.
It would be. It was. So then just the other thing is if I can ever open it, a small container of screwdrivers.
And that's fabulous, but not only for your own things, because when you're house sitting, sometimes you've had to do like running repairs or little fixie things, haven't you?
Indeed. Things come up, the most amazing things. And then in Boulder in Colorado, I was able to find a little repair kit for spectacles. So if you lose the little screws and all sorts of bits and pieces, and I've had to actually use this, so it's been very handy to have with me. So
that is a handy little random piece of shit, isn't it?
It is. That's super glue.
Yes.
Some of our business cards.
Yes.
And a spare toothbrush for cleaning things. There's a few other bits and pieces.
That's just such a terrific little handy bag. And a torch.
A torch.
Amazing.
My Swiss Army knife. So
do you need, I mean, you're in residence now down at Maroochydore, and is it likely that you'll need any of those things? Well, clearly not, because you haven't opened the bag until now.
I haven't opened it, no. If we would have continued with our plan to go to Barcelona, I would have gone through the bag and had a look and just thought about where we're going and what we might need and stack some extra things in. I've got like a needle and thread set up, but just odds and sods. So,
what a handy little thing it is.
And it's all the better because it's in a bag, so it's out of sight and all kept in a neat place.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, well, my next piece of random shit is going to be just up the back here. You can see these 3 tins. Now, they've come from an ex-neighbour who lived across the road. And also I've got, this side, sorry. This bread machine. It's a Breville bread maker. And all of these things are redundant now. But I'm not entirely sure that I can get rid of them. Because then, anyway.
You won't have them.
Yeah, then I won't have them. So now my tools of trade for bread making is, just this old-fashioned ceramic bowl, a plastic basket with some cloth, so that was from the ricotta that you buy at Woolies, and some cheesecloth for the final proving in the fridge, and the Le Creuset pots. I've got a green one over there and I've got this big one. So the green one there takes about a 350 gram loaf, which is what this one here is. So I made 2 today, and that's like a 350 gram one. And
nice.
it's not, thank you. It's delicious. We've already eaten most of the other one. As you can see, we've only got a quarter left. But the lid leaves this indent. And I went, is that a good thing or not a good thing? And then John said, that's part of your branding of your bread. So our bread has a little indent when they're the 350 gram ones.
Yeah.
So that's that. And I'm just completely besotted by these sourdough starters and everything that it gives to us. I just love it. I could do it every day. And in fact, when I make a loaf of bread, I go, I want to make another one straight away because I might do it just a bit differently this time. And carb loading is a thing in our house at this time.
But definitely for us, we're trying not to eat as much carbs as we can, but it's hard when it's cooking in the oven and you can smell it. So.
Yeah, well, you've only got yourself to blame there, Dave, because you did ask for a sourdough starter from me.
I think that's true.
Oh, God, help us. All right. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for sharing those random items. And, we'll catch up with you again very soon.
Look forward to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for commenting and sharing and chatting and liking and all of that kind of stuff. Are you making bread? Are you doing the whole sourdough bread thing like so many of us are? If you'd like that recipe, I'll put the link in to send you to the wonderful woman who put that one together. It is a magic thing to eat. He's a baker. Good-o. All right. Well, I'm going to get... Adam said that he would come on and share some random shit with us.
Good.
Yeah, but probably not until next week now because I've got someone for tomorrow. So,
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Fabulous.